the mobile engagement, for this category in 5 years is close to 100%. Everybody will think about sort of the real estate transaction as mobile.
Stephen Bulfer was involved in cutting-edge technology projects for Fortune 500 companies by day. But as a real estate investor by night, he found himself mired in archaic systems and processes that were relics of the 20th century. So he started Streamloan, a digital mortgage technology platform that simplifies the mortgage lending process. In this episode of UpTech Report, Stephen tells us about his personal experiences as a real estate investor and the unique challenges of that sector his company attempts to solve. Stephen, I'm excited to hear about Streamloan. I'm going to ask you straight up to start with, explain your company in 5 seconds, in brief amount of time as possible of the concept. 5 seconds. What would you say?
Mobile and web technology to streamline mortgages.
Boom. I like just how effortlessly you just share the concept. So what year did this begin again that you started up?
Streamloan has been around in a formal way since about 2015. However, I've been thinking about this problem for many years previous to that, as do many founders that end up kind of dedicating their lives to solving a problem.
You've run several businesses before, several organizations, right?
Yeah, this is startup number 5. I've had one large failure, and then a few successes. Couple entities are still operating, and out there kind of driving cash flow and growing. And we had 2 exits.
Help me understand more the problem that you see in the marketplace that you're trying to then solve.
Sure. So I sort of got into this by accident. I've been in technology all of my career. I was an accidental real estate investor, was inspired by a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, but my aunt and uncle gave me back in high school. And so I ended up playing the game of real monopoly. Every place that I landed, I bought a place and rolled it into a portfolio similar to a residential REIT. And it absolutely drove me crazy because I was doing technology with Deloitte, solving big, hard problems, ripping apart industries and putting them back together digitally by day. And then by night, I was kind of doing these investments. And, on one hand, we're like creating sort of the perfect utopia of sort of digital design for companies and workflow. And on the other hand, I'm getting asked to fax documents, to send in the same sets of PDFs that I already downloaded and pulled before.
You're like, this is so antiquated.
It just doesn't make sense. Disconnected people, disconnected processes, lack of technology. Like, forget about mobile technology. They were barely able to stand up a website, right? So it was really this sort of ecosystem of chaos that made my blood boil, to be quite honest. And I said, I need to go do something about this.
So then Streamloan, as you mentioned already earlier, you had this concept for a while, but now you're in a place, let's kickstart it in. Just give me an analogy or story then, how your solution comes in and solves this problem.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you've ever applied for a mortgage or gone through any of these kind of lending processes, but they're painful. So it goes something like this. You find a home you want to buy after driving around with a real estate agent on a Saturday afternoon for 6 or 8 hours. You see a bunch of properties, you like one. You may or may not have experience with mortgage lenders. Most people don't for the first home purchase. So they're like, okay, how am I going to get $1 million in San Francisco or New York or other expensive cities to buy the place? Typically, the real estate agent will make a recommendation. If you trust him, you probably take it. Yeah, Betty Sue over at ABC Lender is great. She'll get it done. And you probably say, sure. And maybe you shop around. Maybe you talk to your big bank, a Wells Fargo or Bank of America for a second opinion, and they may or may not beat the rate. So then the chaos starts. So you get the lead passed in. It's typically a manual lead process, right? So somebody picks up the phone, or maybe they make an email connection. A few days later, the loan officer might get back to you. Sometimes if they're on top of it, they might get back to you actually within a few minutes or a few hours. And then they're going to ask you to go to their website and download some PDF form, or if they're really sophisticated, kind of cutting edge, they're going to say, we have an online form. So you go through this 1003 process, and they're going to ask you for 500 things, and you typically are required to do it on a laptop, right? So now you're pausing your life, you're in front of a machine, and you're filling out all of this stuff. So a lot of it's actually not even applicable. So you're still having to fill out stuff or evaluate things that don't even apply to you. So that's frustrating to begin with. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. After you press send or go or whatever and throw the information on the other side, that's when the fun starts. So then you spend the next weeks or months going back and forth with a loan officer, with a loan officer assistant and or processor, potentially getting things pushed back to underwriting. And the process goes on and on and on. And it's missed voicemails, missed phone calls, it's some text messages, and it's hundreds and hundreds of emails later. Maybe you've had a chance to use a sophisticated portal to push up a couple of PDFs, but then 30 days pass and they come back to you and say, oh yeah, all the stuff we asked you to send over to us, your financials, your taxes, your insurance, your payroll, your blah, 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 we actually need you to just, if you don't mind, just go and do all that again. Sit in front of your computer, download all the nasty documents, roll them up in an email attachment. Maybe the email makes it, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, if you've ever worked for big companies, but they typically have 10 megabytes or 30 megabytes is the limit of the email. And if not, it bounces back. And then it's like, well, how do I get you all these documents? Well, we have a portal. Well, the portal typically doesn't work or it has some headaches. And so this goes on and on and on. And remember, you spent, a half a day driving around, you found the beautiful home that you wanted. Guess what? That home's already gone and off the market because you don't have your act together, or the mortgage lender doesn't have their act together. So the home is actually gone. And if you needed to get into that home, maybe to start a new job and get close to work, maybe you're moving your family and starting school. Now you're stressed out, you're freaking out, you're probably fighting with your significant other, and it's a mess. And so this is sort of the day-to-day headaches that people deal with.
Your actual client is the mortgage broker or the agency, is that correct?
Yeah, in this case, it could be a mortgage broker or could be a mortgage lender to be kind of more generic. Anybody who's helping you with the mortgage process, lending you money, or finding you a trail to a pot of gold to allow you to buy your place. But that's exactly right. There are tons of inefficiencies, roughly $8,800 of inefficiency on the lender side, right? That's a huge amount of inefficiency to tackle. I mean, even if you save 10, 20%, that's a massive impact you can have on the industry.
How many mortgage lenders are there?
So the MBA tracks something around 6,500 lenders that they sell the data for. So that's kind of what we follow. We believe that there are probably as many as twice as many. There's hard money lenders. There's other type of lenders out there. But for the ones that are above board and pretty well known, doing any reasonable volume, it's thousands, right?
Got it. And each of them are the potential ones that could be using your platform to streamline the entire process.
Absolutely. As we've described, the complexities around communication, building something simple as a secure, compliant chat application with a document workflow where you can move documents around. Entire companies are dedicated to that, Dropbox and Slack and Box and, a number of others, right? So we've built a lot of those capabilities into the product, and that's just the communication piece. How about gathering all your financial data? Well, how do you do that today? You have to go out to Wells Fargo, you download some statement, log in, poke around, try to find the date range. Well, are those the right dates for the underwriting requirement from the lender? Like all this nonsense goes on. So we've also kind of stepped into the world of kind of, robotic process automation or AI, such that you just log in once to your financial institution, whether it's, Charles Schwab or E-Trade or Wells Fargo, Bank of America. We'll go get all the relevant documents and data, pull them in, match them with what you need, and get it to the lender. All that happens in a minute or two.
You simply just log in into your bank account and through your application, and then it takes care of the rest.
Takes care of the rest, right? So when we say streamlining, this is not just a placated word. Like we really are doing heavy lifting on behalf of the borrower, and you can do this from your phone, right? You can be, running between meetings or catching a flight or at your kid's soccer game, and instead of like downloading and attachments and data matching and all that nonsense, that's the borrower side. So we provide those tools to get things done. And then on the lender side, we provide similar capabilities to allow for automation and workflow to be really, really smooth. Basically, you can do more with less is the big idea.
Sure. What was that process to build that out and to now have it capable? And where do you see that you currently have, but also looking to expand even further?
Sure. Yeah. So I think, you know, the minimum viable product, to kind of, coin a term from kind of lean startup and, Stephen Blank and what Eric Ries are doing out there, is a lot more than we initially anticipated. We've invested heavily. We've invested everything and plowed in, revenue and venture capital investment and, sweat equity and everything into the product and the platform, right? So as we talked about, you have a number of different actors, right? So you need role-based access and security for all of them. You have the headache of connecting to all the financial institutions to acquire the data in a secure and safe and simple way. On the back end, we have other partners that are loan origination management software companies like Ellie Mae and LendingQB and many others that we partner with. So there is a substantial amount of work to make sure that our technology works in harmony. And many of our competitors out there, have some of these integrations done, but they don't quite work, in my opinion, as they should, right? Enterprise grade bidirectional data, making sure that all the plumbing works. So you have that, and then you have all of the workflow in between, right? And giving the right notifications to the right user at the right time based on some interaction. So there's a lot going on. And which tasks can you automate, and how do you automate those in a consistent and secure way, through. So there's a lot of technology that we've built, RPA, AI, and some of those capabilities to automate the process are part of the foundation. But secure multi-party chat, right, is another entire platform and product that we've built. And so we've invested 5 years of some of the smartest engineers on the planet working on solving some of these hard problems.
Being now 5 years into this, how many then customers and clients are being able to utilize this?
Yeah, so we've had we think of the world in terms of users and transactions. Dollars matter to us. That's how mortgages are sort of measured, and that's how our lender partners make money. So we've had billions of dollars of flow through, and tens of thousands of borrower transactions. Wow. and hundreds of loan officers on the platform. Gotcha. Many more real estate agents and borrowers and such. But again, we get paid when lending users subscribe to the platform, engage in the platform, and ultimately, we all win when they close loans. So
got it. Hundreds of lenders, billions of dollars being able to loans that have gone through here. Your solution is very, if I understand correctly, is a white labeled solution for the end lender, so that the lenders don't necessarily have to say they're using it, or how does that work then that you've positioned it?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, right? So you can appreciate the complexity. And so typically lenders are really great at the lending business, and that's what they should focus on, right? It's specialization. It's sort of economics 101. Do what you do well and partner for the rest. It's no different with this technology, right? We've had a group of dedicated team members here at Streamloan for years working on solving this one problem and solving it in what we believe is the best and most efficient kind of solution platform on the planet for the category. So if you think about taking something like Rocket Mortgage, which, Dan Gilbert and his team have done an amazing job of sort of being iconic and building out sort of digital mortgage. Every bank cannot afford to put that same type of multi-$100-million investment to work. So we're coming in and we're allowing more of a neutral playing field, right? Whether you're a small lender doing 30 million a year in transactions, or if you're a mid to large size lender doing billions or tens of billions of dollars in transaction, we can help you.
That's awesome. So looking forward now, 5 years, where do you see your company?
So we invested extremely early in mobile technology. We believe real estate is actually mobile. And it's a bit of a kind of counterculture way of thinking about it, because, for the last 100 years, real estate is, it's brick and mortar, and it's hard, and it's papers, and it's signatures, and it's this complex thing. We see it differently. The entire real estate transaction can be done on your phone. People are on the go. Our core users are really loan officers and lending users who are salespeople, and real estate agents who are also salespeople, and of course the borrower. And, very rarely are you sitting in front of your laptop all the time, especially when, when some specific transaction or certain need it has to take place. You might be at lunch, or you might be, might be over the weekend. Like, you typically don't have a laptop with an Internet Explorer browser version 8 in front of you, tethered to, some, mainframe solution on the back end, which is, unfortunately, you see that all too often. So we really believe mobile is the way of the future. We have the richest and most robust mobile solution in the entire industry and the entire category. So kind of, where do we see this going, and where do we see our company in 5 years? Everyone has a mobile device, and, we would be hopeful that, that the mobile engagement, for this category in 5 years is close to 100%. Everybody will think about sort of the real estate transaction as mobile.
Where can people go to learn more, and what's a good first step for them to take?
Yeah, and it's great. So again, we serve a number of different users. If you're a lender out there and you want to get on board, please, reach out to us, via our website, request a demo, reach out to sales@streamloan.io, or just hit streamloan.io, our website, and somebody on our sales team or executive team will definitely get in touch and answer any questions and see if we could be a good partner. We evaluate fit up front, and if we believe we can be mutually successful, we're happy to, continue to invest in engaging. If you're a borrower, bug your lender and real estate agent to make sure that they're on the Streamloan platform. It's a beautiful solution. We've invested a lot in UI and usability, user experience, and so we're very proud and excited about what we've done. If you're a real estate agent, very similar. We can get yourself and your brokerage set up very similar to a lender, where you can use tools like Mortgage Calculator and chat and other things, and then refer business in. So it's almost like a free lightweight CRM tool, and then you can refer business into lenders that you trust, and then you can track the progress and status of that through the entire transaction. So if you're one of those three profiles, that's how you can, if you're an insurance company or an appraisal company, please reach out to partners at streamloan.io. We have an entire partner ecosystem and network to provide other digital transactions and flow. We will be making some announcements in the next, call it 30 to 60 days on some things that we've had brewing for a while. So we're very excited to kind of share that with the market soon.
Be sure to check out part 2 of our conversation with Stephen, in which he tells us about the importance of focusing on human behavior as opposed to technology development, and offers some insights on how to look beyond the problems you're currently solving.